This video is sponsored by Renva Turmeric Shakes, sold on Amazon. Enjoy 3 amazingly delicious flavors: vanilla chai latte, peanut butter cup, and ginger lemon drop. Today, we're going to practice focusing our attention on sound and being curious about sound. But first, I want to go over a few concepts. The first has to do with will and surrender. Your spiritual practice guides you to know when to use your will and when to surrender. So if your spiritual practice isn't covering that, isn't helping support you know when to use your will and when to surrender, then you might question that a little bit, because that's important. And sometimes that is a little bit taboo. That subject of when to use your will can be a little bit taboo in some spiritual disciplines, but it's really important. It's important because we all have will, right? We have will, and so it's really good for us to know how to use our will. So I like to talk about that. And for today, we are going to use some will during our meditation, but only for one thing. The only thing that I want you to use your will for is for paying attention to something in particular. So you're going to will yourself to pay attention to the different things that I'm guiding you to pay attention to in your meditation today. So you have eyeballs, right? And sometimes our eyeballs are moving around looking at different things, and it doesn't feel very intentional. We're not having this conscious attention of, I'm going to move my eyeballs this way, and I'm going to look over this way. I'm going to be very intentional, and I move my eyeballs this way, and I'm going to look this way, right? Sometimes it's just more unintentional, unconscious. That's the same in our meditation with our attention. We can pay attention to different things in our meditation on purpose, or we can pay attention to them unconsciously. So we might just start paying attention to our thinking. We might get really wrapped up in our thinking. We might start making a shopping list of things that we need to get at the store. So that would be an example of our attention moving to something without our intention, right? But in this meditation, I'm going to lead you to notice certain sounds. And so when you intentionally move your attention to listen to a certain sound, then that's going to be intentional. We are purposefully not going to use our will for other endeavors. So that might be creating the shopping list. We're purposely not going to use our will to do something like that. And so in this moment, I'd love for you to think of what some of those other endeavors might be that you're not going to use your will to engage in. There are certain thought patterns that you are not going to use your will to engage in. For example, analyzing your meditation practice. Am I doing it right? Am I doing a good job? Might be something that would come up. So you can think of what might come up essentially that would be distracting. The first part of this meditation that I'm going to lead you through, which will be about 15 minutes, is going to be about taming your mind. I will lead you to step down from analysis, from simulating outcomes, from thinking about the past, maybe stepping away from song lyrics, all those things that might be busy in your thinking. The second part of the meditation I'm going to lead you to be mindful of your gut, your abdomen area, and to notice if there's any activation in your nervous system. There might not be any. You might feel completely at peace, calm, relaxed in your gut area, but you might not. You might feel tension there. And so I'll lead you through some ways to relax, soothe your nervous system. And even if your nervous system isn't triggered, it's good to practice the soothing anyway, because one of these days it will be triggered. And so you'll have that practice on how to soothe your nervous system. And so the gut is very responsive. And so even if it feels triggered, there's a good chance if you use some of these gut soothing techniques that it will relax and be more soothed. One of the techniques that we're going to use today is feeling a sense of stability. And so I'm going to ask you to think about individually, one at a time, 4 different things that bring you a sense of stability. And so before we go into the meditation, I'd like you to put that list together. What are those 4 things in your life that bring you a sense of stability? It might be a relationship. It might be your job. It might be your house. It might be something from nature that brings you a sense of stability. And as far as your body position during the meditation, it's probably good if you stay seated. You can sit cross-legged on the floor, or you can sit in a chair with your feet on the floor. That's totally fine. Or you can be sitting on your couch or on your bed. We usually don't meditate lying down just because we'll often fall asleep or get really sleepy, but you can certainly meditate lying down if that works for you. If you are in a TSD Mindfulness certification program, then I am asking you to do this meditation that I'm about to lead you through 3 or 4 times a week until your next class. And then I'll be teaching you another meditation in that class, which will be slightly different. And then I'll ask you to do that meditation 3 or 4 times a week until your next class. All right, so just go ahead and find a comfortable space and we will begin the meditation. So with your eyes closed, go ahead and take in a deep breath. As you exhale, let your shoulders drop. Another intentional breath in. And as you exhale, relax your jaw. One more intentional deep breath. And as you exhale, see if you can let your abdominal muscles relax. And then returning to natural pace of breathing. I'd like you to notice the sounds in your environment. You might notice how many different sounds are in your environment. You might also notice the space in between the sounds, the quiet in between the sounds. And if you drift off into thought, that's fine. Just move your attention back to the sounds without any judgment on your distraction. And then I'd like you to choose one sound in particular and focus on that. And remember, you're using your will to direct your attention toward that sound, not using your will to do anything else, just to direct your attention. You can be curious about the sound, asking yourself, does this sound like it's close or far away? And being curious about the sound, does it have a high pitch or a low pitch? And again, if there's any distracting thoughts, just wake up to the fact that you've been distracted. Acknowledge that and use your will to bring your attention back to the sound. Gently, without judging your abilities or your practice. Still being curious about the sound, asking, is this sound more rhythmic or is it more sporadic? And feel free to shift your attention to a different sound, rotating your attention to a different sound. Being curious about that sound. Is it mechanical or is it from nature? And noticing if your attention just kind of gets lost in thought, waking up to that, noticing, willing yourself, moving your attention back to the sound. Noticing the ebb and flow of your practice, about the concentration, then losing concentration, back to concentration, losing concentration. It's all part of the practice. Continuing to be curious about the sound. And noticing how the sound allows you, invites you to take a break from thinking and just be in the awareness of the moment. If you'd like to shift your attention to a different sound, you're completely welcome to do that. Still being curious. Also, maybe noticing the space in between the sounds. If you get distracted, just gently bringing your attention back to the sound. Giving yourself compassion. If you feel distracted and unfocused, you might say to yourself, it's understandable. I'm feeling distracted. I've had a lot going on today. Continuing to notice the sound. Notice when you get distracted. And using your will to move your attention back. And use your mindfulness to notice. Notice if the single pointed focused attention on the sound is quieting your thinking in any way, giving yourself a mental break. Noticing the ebb and flow of your practice, being concentrated, losing concentration, becoming concentrated and focused again. Giving yourself compassion. I'm a beginner. I'm learning this practice. Nothing about my practice needs to be perfect. And then I'd like you to move your attention to your abdominal area. First, paying attention to the physical sensations in your abdominal area. And you can use the sound as an anchor. You can always go back to the sound. But I'd also like you to notice the physical sensations in your gut area. Do you feel a sense of hollowness, or does it feel full? Are there areas of your gut that feel a little tense? Is there some tension, or does it feel completely relaxed? And if you get distracted, just notice that. Use your will to bring your attention back to your gut area, noticing the physical sensations in your gut area. And if you feel some tension in your gut area, you might use a little curiosity. I wonder what that's about. I wonder why I have a little tension in my gut right now. Not judging it, it's totally okay. Just being curious what that might be about. There's something going on this week or today that might be causing you to feel a little tension. And then, as a means to soothe, reassure your nervous system, I'd like you to think about one of those aspects of your life that brings you a sense of stability. You can think about it in a visual way, or you might tap into the emotions that you feel when you are in that place or with that person. Or you might simply reflect on some memories. If you get distracted, that's okay. Just use your will to bring your attention back to your process of intentionally thinking about this aspect of your life that brings you stability. And use your mindfulness to notice if thinking about this has any effect on your physical being. And then I'd like you to shift gears and think about another aspect of your life that brings you feelings of stability. Again, either thinking about it visually or feeling the emotions associated with this aspect of your life, or reflecting on memories. If you become distracted, just notice that. Use your will to bring your attention back to your intentional thinking. And you can always use that sound as an anchor, going back to the anchor of the sound. Use your mindfulness to notice if thinking about this aspect of your life brings a sense of calm to your physical being. And then I'd like you to consider one more aspect of your life that brings you a sense of stability, reflecting on it in a way that works best for you. If you notice yourself becoming distracted, just notice that that's happening and use your will to bring your attention back. And then these last few moments of the meditation, I'd like you to move your attention to your heart area and just notice the physical sensations there. Does anything feel heavy or tight or numb or light? You can always go back to the sound as an anchor. And remembering to notice yourself with kindness, reflecting on your practice with kindness, your abilities with kindness. And then go ahead and open your eyes whenever you're ready. Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. This is the conclusion of the TSD Mindfulness Teachings video number 1.